Hey there, I am back with another deck review, and today we're going to be looking at Flea Circus from Art of Play and designer Jeff Trish. This deck is a throwback to the days of the legendary Flea Circus, when watchmakers and jewelers who wanted to demonstrate their metalworking skills would construct these intricate harnesses and apparatuses that were then mounted to actual fleas. Those fleas would then use their strength, which was famously disproportionate to their size, to perform simple little feats like pulling chariots or operating miniature Ferris wheels or merry-go-rounds to entertain the crowds. Now, while the practice of using actual bugs has all but died out, you can still see mechanical versions of the act on display, using electrical contraptions to perform the supposed acts instead of the fleas. Among the acts you can still find in modern times is Professor Humbug's Flea Circus, which performs in Seattle's Pike Place Market. It's a charming theme for a deck, and to bring it all together, Art of Play enlisted the artistic talents of Jeff Trish. He's the same designer responsible for Sons of Liberty, which just so happens to be one of my favorite Art of Play decks ever. And of course, for a deck celebrating the minuscule performers of the past, this design is fittingly done as a miniature deck. I don't have a whole lot of miniature decks in my collection, but I love when a miniature deck kind of fits in with the theme. And this one, celebrating the tiny performers, I think a great way to celebrate the form. Now, if you like what you see here, this deck was originally only available as part of Art of Play's Curiosity box. It was a box that included this deck along with a bunch of other kind of trinkets and gadgets and toys, a full box that was put on sale last year. But as of a few days ago, you can finally get the deck itself as a standalone item. So if you like what you see here, I'll put links down in the description where you can check out either the Curiosity box or the single decks for yourself. But let's get into this and see how Jeff and Art of Play did. All right, so starting with the tuck box, it's done, of course, in miniature, and it's done with a soft touch finish on this one, with the pale green color in the background. I love that color, kind of lends itself to the vintage feel overall. And then the design work here, done in bright colors to mimic the style of old Victorian era posters that you might have seen advertising the circus. Done in a mixture of reds and pinks and blues, along with accents of the gold foil and some nice embossing to go with it as well. It just gives it kind of that little bit of a luxury feel for a miniature deck. It says the Flea Circus playing cards, and then the image of the flea jumping through the flaming hoop down there at the bottom. Of course, the Dan and Dave version of the Flea Circus, a little bit more death-defying than the actual Flea Circuses were, but a little bit of artistic license there. Fun artwork, very simple style. This one, kind of an engraving style of artwork, very true to Jeff Trish's form on other decks. And then turning to the side here, you get the 54 blood-sucking minuscule marvels, a reference to the 54 cards in the deck that we're going to see. And on the other side, Art of Play's Flea Circus, designed by Jeff Trish. Bottom has your ad copy, including a mention of Legends, who printed the deck. As far as I know, this is only the second miniature deck that Legends has done. Their first one being the Sprout deck from Curio Playing Cards Botanica campaign. And then turning to the top, you have a little banner here, partially covered up by that tuck seal, but it says, "The Extraordinary Exhibition of Uncanny Fleas." And then the back here, a foiled and colored version of the back design of the cards, done as kind of an admission ticket with the little images here of some of the acts in the Flea Circus. And then it finishes out with another little ticket here, this time as the tuck seal has the Art of Play presents the Flea Circus playing cards with a big top in the center. And as you open up the flap here, so there's no thumb cut out on this one, so it's a little bit trickier to open this one up. But as you open it, you get another image of the big top there. You can even see the little fleas marching their way into the circus, and nothing printed on the interior of the tuck. The cards here, definitely a bit of a snugger fit, so a bit hard to get them out. Takes a little bit of extra work to make sure you get all the cards. And of course I missed a few, but we'll get them all out of here eventually. Eventually, we'll struggle with them. But great looking tuck box. But next, let's check out the cards so we can get all this back in order. All right, and we'll start with the back design. And here it is. So it's done as a one-way back design and matching artwork, just what we saw on the back of the tuck, but this time done in a monochrome color. This one on a white background with just that kind of bluish colored ink here. And like the tuck box, done to look like an admission ticket, complete with the perforations on the top and the bottom. This one kind of has scenes from some of the different performers, like the acrobat here in the center, or the strongman flea over here. There's our the one jumping through the flaming hoop again, or a ballerina, or a juggler in the top left. Fun look to it overall. I wish it had been done as a two-way back design. Bit of a shame it was as one-way, but for a deck that I'm really not going to use that much, doesn't bother me all that much. Still kind of a fun look to it overall. All right, now turning to the main cards, and we'll start with the two Jokers. And all the cards throughout this are going to celebrate some of the different acts that you might find in the fictional Flea Circus. We start out with the Jokers, which celebrate the clowns, all kind of like clowns in the circus today, stuffed into a single car. So you get the Volkswagen Bug here, the Bug, completely stuffed with tons of fleas. You can see one from the front and one from the back. One done in red and one done in black. So you get your classic red and black Joker. All right, so there's your two Jokers. And then the Ace of Spades, the only power ace in the deck. This one features the large spade pip and has 3 acrobats in the 3 rings there. So kind of dancers that you might see in a classic circus. But of course, these are all fleas. And then Art of Play presents the Flea Circus playing cards. Pippin Index done in a very classic style, just slight customization to the pip, but nothing too special. And then all the rest of the cards in the deck, rather than being your classic pips in the center, every single card, aces, courts, all the way through, are all going to celebrate some of the performers that you might find in the circus. It's a mixture of fun little themes, including little puns, like this one, Flea Petite. This is a reference to Philippe Petit, who was a famous high wire artist. He was known for doing a few things, like he walked between the 2 twin towers, or he walked between the spires of the Cathedral of Notre Dame. And so Philippe Petit gets a nod here as Flea Petite on the 2 of spades. Fun little look at that one. And as you go through, you'll see all sorts of fun little acts. Like there's another high wire act spinning the plates on sticks there. There's a 2-headed flea, one of the circus freaks that you might find. Jugglers, just all sorts of fun little bits all the way through, and all references, whether it's acrobats or magic acts that you might find in the circus. Fun artwork on these. I particularly love this one, the Master of Beasts with the giant bear and the menacing flea wielding his whip there on the side. And some of them, like I said, references to famous acts of the past as well. There's a flea magician sawing another flea in half. The Wheel of Death, that's a really fun one. So the black cards done in black, and then the red with that fun artwork done in red ink instead. Love the fact that this includes all acts on all the cards, not going with the classic pips or the court cards, but instead doing 52 different acts all the way through. It's a really fun deck overall, and just fun to kind of go through all these. Here's another pun one, Evil Fleevil, of course a reference to Evel Knievel. There's some stage combat going on, or a mime. Just a lot of fun all the way through. So not going to stop on every single one of these or talk about each one of these, just some of my favorites. The Leaning Tower of Fleesa. So all the fleas in a stack there, kind of making a leaning tower. That's a cool one. There's the Strong Flea. The Flea Who Knows. This is another historical reference here. So Alexander, the Man Who Knows, was a famous mentalist back in the early 1900s who used to perform. And so he has one of the most famous magic posters in history. And so you can see that given an homage here on the 6 of clubs. There's a Chimera Flea. The Great Fleadini, of course, a reference to Houdini, the famed escape artist. There's a Sword Swallower. That's another really cool one. Snake Charmer. But yeah, there you go. So that is the set of fleas. Oh, there you go. Dan and Dave actually get an appearance on the 2 of Hearts. Dan and Dave, of course, the Buck twins, who are the guys behind Art of Play. And so, of course, they put themselves as fleas on one of the cards. And a nod to their favorite art form, cardistry, on the 3 of Hearts. Of course, that's a more modern art form, but great to see it given a nod in the deck as well. All right, and we go through the last few with the hearts here. There's a ventriloquist. That's a cool one. Bam Bam Flea. I like that one. That one kind of makes me smile. So fun artwork all the way through, and great themes on all of them. Now, as far as handling, this deck actually does not handle too badly at all. It's given a nice kind of air cushioning finish to it. And so, while it's harder to use with the smaller form, you can still use these for fans or even shuffle them just fine. So not sure that anybody's going to replace their regular cardistry decks with these in their arsenal. But if you wanted to, definitely a functional enough deck. And that is it. That is the look at the Flea Circus playing cards from Art of Play. It is a really fun deck and a lot put into it for such a small deck. Great premium tuck box and fun artwork on all the cards. Definitely one for my money, absolutely worth picking up. So like I said, I put a link down in the description where you can check these out for yourself. You may not want to break these out as your next poker game, but if you're a collector, this is a great one to have in the set. All right, that's it for now. Hope you enjoyed the Flea Circus. Make sure to subscribe for more deck reviews, more unboxings. Let me know what else you want to see, and I'll see you for the next one.